Hello everybody, I hope you're okay and you had a lovely weekend. It was a bit funny weather, rain, sun, but today's very sunny, so I hope you're making the most of the lovely day because I think the rain is set in after that. Anyway, that's enough of the weather report. So we got to chapter 11, which is the wickedest witch that ever was. They're just on their way, they've been warned about this witch but they're going, so here we go. Now this bit does get quite alarming, little puppies, so if you don't want to hear it, now's the time to put your paws over your ears. That's what Lion used to do whenever things became too frightening for him. We had no road to follow, only the sun. The grass was soft to walk on and there were daisies and buttercups everywhere. The birds were twittering and cooing, the larks trilling as they rose into the blue above us, and along the sparkling streams the dippers were dipping and kingfishers flashing by. It was the most beautiful countryside we had walked through in all our long journey. It was hard to believe anything bad could happen to us in this country. Our spirits rose and our steps quickened. By now we had left the Emerald City far behind us and were up in the hills, where suddenly the way was full of stones and rockier altogether, which made for harder, rougher walking. Tin Woodman often stumbled to his knees and had to be helped up. Dorothy took his arm, but then she would stumble and he would have to help her up. Higher and higher we climbed, the sun beating down on us, every hill steeper than the one before, and now the wind was howling about us. Soon we were all tired out. We found a more sheltered place out of the wind, in amongst the rocks, where a carpet of soft thrift had grown. We lay down to sleep, all of us huddling together. Even Scarecrow lay down with us, which was unusual. "I don't like wind," he said. "I'm so light I could get blown away." We had just settled down to sleep when I thought I heard a whistling sound. I imagined at first it must be the whistling of the wind around the rocks. Then I was sure I was hearing the howling of wolves. "No," I thought, "that's just the wind again. Don't worry about it," I told myself. I curled up closer to Dorothy and fell fast asleep, which was when I dreamed a horrible dream. I dreamed I saw the Wicked Witch of the West, a warty old witch in a pointed hat and pointed shoes with one huge eye in the middle of her forehead. She was blowing on a silver whistle, and all around her the air thickened and swirled into clouds, grey clouds, that turned into howling wolves. "I see strangers in my land," she was shrieking. "Strangers lying asleep on my thrift in amongst my rocks. They are no good to me as sleighs, for one is made of tin, another of straw, one is a raggedy old lion, and the other a little bitty dog, and a slip of a girl. None of them any use to anyone. Go, my dears," she screeched. "Go and tear them to pieces." That was when I woke up. All round us was a pack of yellow-eyed, sharp-toothed wolves baying for our blood, and Tin Woodman was up on his feet, axe in hand. He whirled it round and round and struck the first wolf, which was instantly turned to dust in thin air. Gosh. "The Wicked Witch has sent them," said Dorothy, "just like the Guardian said." And on the horrible wolves came, and all of us backed away, all of us apart from Tin Woodman. He kept swiping his axe, spinning, and with every whirl he chopped off a wolf's head, then another and another and another, each one of them becoming nothing but a puff of dust when he'd finished with them. All I could do was bark, which I did loudly, until Dorothy picked me up and held me tight. Lion had his paws over his eyes. He didn't want to watch, while Scarecrow clapped and cheered in wild excitement. "Bravo, Tin Woodman, bravo!" he was shouting. "Oh, I'm awfully scared," said Lion. And Dorothy was sobbing, her face buried in my neck. "Oh, horrible, horrible," she cried. "The Wicked Witch of the West can make wolves out of dust." Tin Woodman sat down, exhausted. "Good axe, this," he said. "Came in handy, didn't it? Sorry if it upset you, Dorothy, but it was either the wolves or us." "This means she knows we are here," said Dorothy, looking around her. "The Guardian was right. She can see us with her all-seeing eye. She's seeing us now." And this was true, of course. I knew that much from my dream. All the next day we walked up the hill and down dales, fording rivers and streams. So by sundown we were exhausted all over again, and I was hungry too, as I tried often to remind Dorothy with my pleading eyes, with my cold, cold nose. But she was too tired to care about anything, even me. Again we all lay down to sleep, arms round one another, me with my head on Dorothy's lap. I was asleep at once. I thought I heard a whistle blowing, and then the sound of crows cawing. Then I dreamed a horrible dream again, but not the same dream. This time that warty old Wicked Witch of the West was up on the yellow ramparts of her yellow castle and looking out towards us with her one huge telescopic eye. And I could see what she was seeing. All her wolf guards were reduced to dust now, and all of us were lying there fast asleep. Me too, my head on Dorothy's lap. I could see myself in my own dream. Shaking with rage, she blew again on her silver whistle. "Those infernal strangers! They've defeated my wolves!" She pointed to the skies and shrieked a spell, and above her, crows gathered out of the darkening clouds. "Find them, my darlings!" she shrieked. "Find those strangers! Go and peck out their eyes while they are sleeping. Tear them into little pieces for me." That was when I woke up. All above us I saw the sky filled with crows, dozens of them, all with black beady eyes and cruel beaks, and they were cawing at us, diving on us. Scarecrow was up on his feet, arms outstretched. "Don't you worry, my friends," he cried. "It's what I'm for, remember? I scare crows, don't I? I won't let them hurt you." And for a while it seemed to be working. The crows flew round and round us, cawing angrily, and they didn't dare attack. But then the biggest of them, the king crow, called out, "He's not a real man at all. Look at him. He's just a straw man. He can't harm us." And he flew down and started stabbing and pecking at Scarecrow, pulling out his straw. That made Scarecrow really mad. Really cross. He reached up and took King Crow by the neck and shook him until King Crow cawed no more and was nothing but a puff of dust. That only angered the crows even more, and they all came down to try to peck Scarecrow to pieces, and Scarecrow did the same to all of them. By the time he had finished, there were no crows left, not even a feather, just a lot of dust lying around. "Oh, I'm awfully scared," said Lion. "I've never liked crows." "Bravo, Scarecrow, bravo," cried Tin Woodman. "That's that then," said Scarecrow. "The Wicked Witch of the West sent them," said Dorothy. "I know she did." And again I knew from my dream she was right. All next day we walked, wondering all the while what nasty wicked plans the Wicked Witch had in mind for us, and trying not to worry about it, which was impossible, of course. Dorothy was worried too, though she never said it. She just hummed a lot, a sure sign she was worried. She sang a bit too, to keep us all cheerful, I think. Her singing never made me cheerful, if I'm honest, but the others seemed to like it. Lion and I found a rabbit or two to chase and eat out of sight of the others, and that kept me a lot more cheerful. Dorothy seemed quite happy with the apples and pears she found, and Tin Woodman and Scarecrow didn't bother with food, so they were fine. We none of us looked forward to the sunset, though. Whatever the Wicked Witch had in store for us was going to happen after sunset. We knew that, and sunset comes whether you want it to or not. "Home is home, isn't it, Toto?" said Dorothy sadly. "And home is best. Home is where I want to be so much." Me too, I was thinking, and I gave her a lick on her hand to let her know. She patted my head. At least I had Dorothy, and at least we had each other. We cuddled tight together, but tired though we all were, I think I was the only one who fell asleep, and when I did, I dreamed a horrible dream again. The Wicked Witch of the West was up on the yellow ramparts of her yellow castle again, her all-seeing eyes spotting us at once, all of us asleep. She blew loud and long and shrilly on her silver whistle, pointed to the sky and screamed a spell. At once a great cloud of bees gathered about her, humming and roaring so loud it might have been thunder, swarming around the castle ramparts. "The strangers have destroyed my crows!" she shrieked. "Go, bees!" she commanded. "Go at once and sting them to death. That little bitty dog too, all of them." That was the moment I woke up, and there above us was a huge swarm of black bees. Now we were done for, I thought. There was no escape. Nothing could save us. But Scarecrow and Tin Woodman were up on their feet, and Scarecrow was pulling out handfuls of straw from inside him and shouting at Dorothy and me and Lion. "Lie where you are, be still, and Tin Woodman and I will cover you completely with straw. None of the bees will sting you then." So we did as Scarecrow told us, as he and Tin Woodman covered us all over with a thick blanket of straw. So when the bees flew down to attack, we were all safely hidden away and protected. There was only Tin Man left to sting, and a rather thin and bedraggled Scarecrow. And bees, of course, can't sting straw any more than they can sting tin. In their fury, they tried to sting Tin Woodman. Their stings broke against the tin, and of course everyone knows that once a bee has used his sting, he dies. But these bees didn't die like real bees do. They just turned to dust, like the wolves had, and like the crows had. "Bravo!" Dorothy cried, and Lion roared, and I woofed like crazy. I was so happy, so relieved. I really do not like bees. Never have. We soon stuffed all the straw back into Scarecrow so that he looked much as he had before. Even better, I thought. Bees, crows, wolves, whatever the Wicked Witch of the West sent out to attack us, we had defeated. It must have been Dorothy's magic red shoes, or that kiss from the Good Witch of the North that had protected us. But I thought it was also because we looked after one another, that together we were strong, too strong for the Wicked Witch of the West. She tried once more the next evening to destroy us, sending 40 of her slaves, the yellow Winkies, to attack us with their bows and arrows, with their pointed spears and sharp swords. But Lion simply stood there and roared at them, and they dropped all their bows and arrows and spears and swords and ran away. When they'd all gone, we were so happy. We danced round and round and sang and whooped and clanked and barked and roared until we were quite giddy, and I chased my tail, which made me giddy too. We were all of us giddy with joy. We were all sure by now, surely we were sure that the Wicked Witch of the West had done her best time and time again to get rid of us and had failed. But how wrong we were. The next chapter is called We Fall into the Clutches of the Wicked Witch of the West. And this is the picture. Okay, enjoy the rest of your day, and somebody will catch up with you with the next chapter tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.